Good morning, my dear friends. Once again, welcome back to English time. Have you read the story? Yes. We just started the lesson, the scholarship jacket. You wrote that profile of our author and send me, and also you wrote that all side question answers. Very good. Today we are going to resume our remaining part of that lesson. Okay, so you know what is scholarship jacket? It is a award. It is a jacket which was given to a student who maintained straight A from first to 8th grade. Okay, and here our narrator was the student who was expected to get that scholarship jacket that particular academic year. Okay, so let's continue our lesson. We couldn't participate in sports at school because there were registration fees, uniform cost, and trips out of town. So even though our family was quite agile and athletic, there would never be a school sports jacket for us. This one, the scholarship jacket, was our only chance. Then she says, well, now we couldn't participate in the sports at school. Sports will be there now in all schools. Every year sports will be. So in that small Texas school, there was also sports items, and we means members from her family couldn't participate in the sports at their school. Why didn't they participate? All can participate in sports items, no? Why couldn't she participate in that sports conducted in that school? There is a reason. What is the reason? No, because there were registration fees. What was the problem? No, a registration fees was there. Her father was only a farm laborer who was unable to feed 8 children. That's why she was shifted to her grandparents' house. So grandparents also they were also very poor. So a registration fee for sports was a big problem for them, and also uniform cost. If anybody gets selection to the sports items, they wanted to buy uniform. For that also money is needed, and trips out of town, and some trips were there for practice. That coach took that students to different towns for exercise, for coaching, and also for participating in different competitions out of that school. So for those all what registration fees also needed. So our narrator couldn't pay that all. That's why she couldn't participate in that sports conducted in that school. Even though our family was quite agile, then she says what? No, even though our family was quite agile means what? Energetic. That members in that family, they were very agile, they were very energetic, and was athletic, and also they were athletic means sports spirit. They had such a sports spirit. Athletic sports, that ability was also there. They could run, but there would never be a school sports jacket for us. Even though they were agile or energetic and athletic, that family, children from that family, they couldn't win that sports jacket. There was a special jacket for those who participate and win in the sports. There was a chance for whom our narrator to get that sports jacket also, but there was no hope. Why? Because they couldn't participate in that sports item. If anybody participates in that sports item, they may get. If they win in that athletic meet, okay, there is a chance for winning that scholarship jacket for sports. But here they were able to participate and win, but what was the problem? They couldn't pay that extra fee, registration fee and all, and buying that uniform for that sports was also a problem for them. So they couldn't dream of that scholarship jacket in that given for the sports items. This one, which one? The scholarship jacket. Yes, sports jacket was not possible, but scholarship jacket, for that was our only chance. Only there was a chance for getting this children from that family, that was scholarship jacket. Sports jacket, because of financial problem they couldn't. So this one, there is no need of a extra fee or uniform, nothing that is needed. They should get straight A from 1st to 8. It was possible to them, so they hoped only this scholarship jacket to win. In May, close to graduation, spring fever had struck as usual with a vengeance. In May month, that calamity condition is different. In May, close to graduation, spring fever had struck as usual with a vengeance. In America, in May, close to graduation, they were going to complete their graduation. Spring fever had struck as usual with a vengeance. With a vengeance means to a greater degree than expected. In spring, there was a chance for a fever, but it was affected with a vengeance, means greater degree than expected. She was attacked by the spring fever. No one paid any attention in the class. No one paid any attention, because suffering from fever means you also will not be able to listen to the class. So no one paid any attention in class. Instead of that, we stared out of the windows. The students in that class, they all stared. Stare means looking fixedly, were not to the board or a teacher's face, they stared out of the windows. They stared out of the windows and at each other, and also they stared at each other, wanting to speed up the last few weeks of school. They wanting to speed up the last few weeks of that school. Just some more weeks are remaining in that graduation, so they wanted to complete it as early as possible. I despaired every time I looked in the mirror. I despaired. Despair means lose hope. She lost her all hopes when she looked at the mirror. Means when we look at the mirror, we will be able to see our own reflection in that mirror. So why was she despaired? Pencil thin. Her appearance is given here. Pencil thin. How was she? Because of that fever, you may not be able to eat, drink or anything. You cannot pay attention in any matters. Just sitting and staring at something. So that her weight was reduced, decreased, and then she became pencil thin. Not a curve anywhere. There was no curve, only straight line. And I was called bean pole and string bean, vegetable items. Bean pole and string bean. String, beans are there, bean, long one. Yes, that bean. She was looking like a bean, means a very thin vegetable item. So I was called bean pole. If there is a lean or a thin girl in your class, you too may call her this type of a name. If there is a fat girl or a boy, you will have your own name. So I knew that is what I looked like. Her friends called her bean pole and string bean. Why? Because she looked like that beans. That really wasn't much for a 14-year-old to work with, I thought, as I absent-mindedly wandered from my history class to the gym. That really wasn't much for a 14-year-old to work with. So she wanted to work with her body. She has to improve her body. So I thought, and I absent-mindedly means without any attention, she was walking and wandered from history class to the gym. She was going to her history class completed, going to gym. Special class period is there for gym. Another hour of sweating in basketball. Another hour of what? 1 hour. What is there? Basketball. The main game in America is basketball. So what? 1 hour basketball. 1 pay. So 1 hour sweating means here 1 hour sweating means 1 hour hard work in basketball, and displaying my toothpick legs was coming up. And she would display her toothpick. Toothpick means what? Very thin legs was coming up. Her body totally was only like what? Beans. So her leg also will be like that now. So she was going to show that about toothpick legs to others. Means that much thin was she. Then I remembered my PE shorts were still in a bag under my desk where I had forgotten them. And she was moving from walking from history class to gym. On the way she remembered, or she remembered what she had forgotten. What she had forgotten? PE shorts, physical education shorts. Means if student going to basketball, there will be a particular dress for them. That was compulsory. So she forgot that word, that PE shorts. So she remembered that her PE shorts were still in a bag under my desk where I had forgotten them. In her own class, under her desk, that PE shorts was there. So she wanted to take it. I had to walk all the way back and get them. She had to walk all the way back. She was going to reach that gym next, and very close to that ground. But at that time she remembered her shorts, PE shorts. So what? So she had to walk back to the classroom and get them. Otherwise, if she does not take that PE shorts with her, what will happen now? Or what would have happened now? Coach Thompson was a real bear if someone wasn't dressed for PE. She was what? Coach Thompson was a real bear. Bear means, bear means very angry person. If someone wasn't dressed for PE, if anybody comes without PE shorts, Coach Thompson would have got angry and would have punished such students. So that was even though she forgot, and even though she wanted to go back all the way to her class, she ran back. Then She had said I was a good forward and even tried to talk grandma into letting me join the team once. And Coach Thompson, she had said I was a good forward. Her position in that basketball was forward. So she was a good forward according to Coach Thompson. And also she even tried to talk grandma into letting me, to allowing whom our narrator join the team once. She was a good forward, so Coach Thompson was impressed by her performance, and she took a decision to take her in her team. But as you know, grandparents would not be ready to allow her or give consent to that particular for that. Why? Because they were very poor. If our narrator joins in that team, means again what is needed, separate jerseys needed and money needed, coaching all needed. So what, it was a problem to them. So what, even that Coach Thompson tried to talk with the grandma, it was no use. Of course, grandma said no. One day, Coach Thompson went to grandma and met her and talked with her, and then also what grandma said, no. Why? Not because any other problem, it was only because of lack of money. I was almost back at my classroom door when I heard voices raised in anger, as if in some sort of an argument. I was almost back at my classroom door. Then she returned, and Coach Thompson's face was there in her mind, and she thought of punishment from whom she expected the punishment from. Coach Thompson. So she returned and reached very close. She reached nearby the door of her class. When I heard, then when she reached the doorway, what happened? She heard voices raised in anger, as if in some sort of argument. There was an argument from inside that class. An argument. An argument means conversation or discussion in which two or more people disagree. Whenever there is an agreement, there will be no argument, but there was an argument means there was a disagreement. I stopped. Then she did not go to her classroom. When she heard that sound, she stopped there. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. Eavesdrop means to listen secretly to a private conversation. So whenever two members talks or argues, somebody hiding and hearing means it is called as eavesdrop. So she was not ready to eavesdrop means what? To hear by hiding it. I just hesitated. Means she doubted, not knowing what to do. Then what can I do? She wants to what? I needed those shorts and it was going to be late. She wanted that shorts and she was going to be late, but I didn't want to interrupt an argument between my teachers. She wanted to enter that classroom and want to take that PE shorts and go back to that basketball ground. Who was waiting there? Coach Thompson was waiting there, and if she is late, she will be punished. But what can she do now? Her two teachers are there standing inside and they are arguing. So what? So if she enters that classroom, sometimes both teachers may get angry. So she did not know what to do. I need those shorts and I was going to be late, but I didn't want to interrupt. She did not want to interrupt that argument between her teachers. Who are they then? Who are they? So those teachers? I recognize the voices. From their voices, she recognized that two teachers. Who are they? Mr. Schmidt, my history teacher, and Mr. Boone, my math teacher. Mathematics teacher, and what history teacher. Who is history teacher? Mr. Schmidt. And who is math teacher? Mr. Boone. This Boone and Schmidt, they were arguing. They seemed to be arguing about me. That was the important thing. They were arguing about any other matters or official matters or anything else which was in connection with whom? Yes, that our author or narrator, who they seemed to be arguing about me. So they were arguing about whom? Arguing about yes, our narrator. So can she go inside? If she overhears it, no, it's a problem, no? Yes. So I couldn't believe it. After hearing, they were referring or they were arguing, whom arguing about her. She was, she couldn't believe that. I still remember the feeling of shock that rooted me flat against the wall as if I were trying to blend in with the graffiti written there. Then what? I couldn't believe it. I still remember when she writes this story, she says, still remember it. But the feeling of that shock, that was such a shock to her. Even still, she remembers that. When she writes it, she remembered that word, that particular moment, and also that feeling was there in her heart. That shock rooted me flat against the wall. That shock rooted, went inside and flat against the wall as if I were trying to blend it in with the graffiti written there. She wanted to become the graffiti. What is meant by graffiti? Graffiti means writings on the wall. Something would be written on the wall, no? She wanted to become one of that writing. So what? Teachers will not see her, so she can hear. She wanted to escape from there. But at the same time, they were talking about her, so she wanted to stay there. Okay. I refused to do it. I don't care who her father is. Her grades don't even begin to compare to Martha's. I won't lie or falsify records. Martha has a straight A+ average, and you know it. That was Mr. Schmidt, and he sounded very angry. Then who delivered this dialogue? You know, Mr. Schmidt. Who is Mr. Schmidt? History teacher. What was his argument? You know, I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. I won't do it. I don't care who her father is. I don't care who her father is. Her grades don't even begin to compare to Martha's. Her grades don't even begin to compare to Martha's. Then what? Martha means our narrator. So Martha's grade, you know, she is a straight A. But here another girl is there, whose mark or grade is what? Is very low. It is not possible even to compare with the Martha's. So what? I don't care who her father is. So that another girl is there. They are comparing about Martha's mark and that another girl's mark. So saying I don't care who her parents are, means that girl's parents may be very rich and influential in that school. So I won't lie or falsify records. Then Schmidt says, "But no, I don't lie. I won't lie. I won't tell a lie, and I won't falsify records." Falsify means what? To make something false by adding or changing. By changing the record. They can what? She can give. They can change that word, that grades of Martha, or who's that girl's grades also can be changed. Then what? Then they can do that. What they are saying, we don't know. Let's find out. That was Mr. Schmidt. Martha has a straight A plus average, and you know it. Martha has a straight A, and you know it. You know Martha has a straight A, and I want lie or I want falsify records means what? Here Boone is standing opposite to him, which means Boone wants to give straight A grade to another girl, but Schmidt says what? Argues for whom? Yes, Martha, because he knows that she is a straight A grade holder. Mr. Schmidt and he sounded very angry. That was Mr. Schmidt, and he sounded angry. Mr. Boone's voice sounded calm and quiet. Mr. Boone's voice sounded calm and quiet. Boone was saying in a calm and quiet way, but Schmidt was very angry. Look, Jonas' father is not only on the board, but he owns the only store in town. Yes, look. Joanna's father is not only on the board, he is a member of whom that board, Joanna, and he owns the only store in town. We could say it was a close tie, and that Joanna is another girl who is studying in that same 8th grade, and Boone wants to give that scholarship jacket or that straight A to whom? Joanna. But who was not ready? Yes, Schmidt was not ready. Why? Because Joanna does not have that straight A. Then Boone say right now, he is a rich man. He has one and only. He is the owner of one and only store in that town, and he is there in the school board. So why can't we support her? The pounding in my ears drowned out of the rest of the words. Only a word here and there filtered through. The pounding in words, the pounding, that means what? That sound echoed. The ears drowned out the rest of the words. Only a word here and there filtered through. Means she couldn't hear that all word. Some words were heard by her because something went through her mind. Martha is Mexican. Resign. Won't do it. Mr. Schmidt came rushing out, and luckily for me, went down the opposite way towards the auditorium, so he didn't see me. Then what? Martha is Mexican. Resign. Won't do it. Martha is Mexican. They were saying that that dialogues delivered by both members are saying Martha is Mexican, resign, won't do it, and by saying this, Schmidt left the classroom. Means on the way door, just near that road, door who is standing there? Yes, Martha is standing. So Schmidt came rushing out, and luckily for me, went down the opposite way towards the auditorium. He did not come towards whom? Martha. He went the opposite side, so Schmidt did not see Martha, so he didn't see me. Okay, so after that, what? That argument with Boone, Schmidt was not ready to support Boone for giving that straight A to another girl. Okay, Schmidt strongly supported whom? Yes, our Martha. Okay, but Boone was not ready to do that. He was trying to give that straight A to another rich girl, another girl whose father was very rich, and also one of the was one of the members of that board. Means it is not correct. Do you agree with that, Boone, or do you agree with Schmidt? With whom do you agree? Yes, Schmidt. Why? Because he is a good teacher. So here we can stop our class. So today we discussed about what? We discussed about that what something happens in this story. First of all, she explained about what is scholarship jacket and what is the tradition in that school and what is her position in that school and all. Okay, so then today we have come with a problem. What she was expecting that scholarship jacket, but there was a problem. There was a quarrel between teachers awarding that scholarship jacket to whom? Yes, Martha. Martha was a straight A grade winner, but somebody else or another teacher was trying to give that scholarship jacket to another person. Okay, so read that lesson part very carefully and write down the side question answers in your notebook. Okay, thank you.